we are going to share with you the story that we talked to you guys about. Some of you saw the breakfast television segment, others didn't. Back a few months ago, we joined Mark and Dr. Cook in the middle of the Amazonian rainforest for what we thought was sort of, one of our exciting trips to a place we'd never been. But it turned out to be a lot more than that. It turned out to be all about changing the day you die, literally putting healthy years on your life. So, of course, Brent and I were there to give a little bit of what we know in the theme of longevity and health and wellness. But boy, oh boy, did we learn so much more than that.
So the itinerary itself was super exciting, but we had no idea the experience we were about to have was to be so life-changing.
So stay tuned. We are going to start off, before we go over to you, Mark, to give us a little bit more history and backstory on Minga Lodge with just a great video summary on, because you can't. A picture does 1,000 words, as they say. So let's roll that tape so that folks can actually see what this is all about.
We are at the Minga Lodge, our home in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. It's situated on over 700 acres of both primary and secondary rainforest. This part in particular, because of its location, is one of the most biodiverse locations in the world. Minga Lodge exudes health and wellness. There's meditation, there's yoga, there's forest bathing, the chance to connect with nature. It re-nourishes the body and the spirit at the same time. Minga Lodge is a food lover's paradise. Whether it's superfoods from across the river at our superfood farm, or our executive chef preparing a meal just for you and your loved ones, we're experiencing meeting all possible dietary requirements. Minga Lodge has a world-class conference center on site, situated right in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. It's perfect for small, medium, or large conferences. You can complement that, of course, with great team-building activities on site, exploration of the Amazon rainforest, hikes, you name it, and it's available. Guests, when they come here into the Amazon, get the chance to explore during the day and rest at night in our sanctuary lodge. Coming back home at nighttime to a beautiful cabin, a fan, air conditioning, and ability to get a great night's sleep and energize yourself for the next day.
So this is a 5-star resort. You get there by motorized canoe, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So folks, with no further ado, let me introduce you guys to Mark Kilberger and Dr. Timothy Cook, who are actually there right now at Minga Lodge. Guys, thank you so much for spending the time to join us this evening. Of course, we were blown away by our experience, which is why we're doing our own retreat. So give us a little bit of backstory, Mark. What inspired you to recreate, and what was the vision behind Minga?
Yeah, Bryce, first of all, great to see you. Good afternoon from Minga in the Amazon rainforest. I'm here with Dr. Tim Cook, a name that many of your followers know, one of Canada's and the world's foremost longevity doctors. It's great to see you, gentlemen, and great to have a chance to say hello. We're at Minga Lodge. It's about 1,000 acres in the heart of the Amazon in the Ecuadorian rainforest, pristine primary rainforest, most beautiful place, I think, in the world. And we are actually here doing an amazing retreat, and we're talking about biohacking, longevity medicine, and helping to live a fulfilled life. We're also doing some really cool, fun things in addition to that, including a Temescal ceremony last night, which was a sweat lodge in a very traditional way, engaging ancient wisdom and modern science. And one of the cool things as well as hanging out in the Amazon is you get to see some amazing things, including monkeys, and we've got all types of wonderful wildlife, sloths, and everything in between. So it's been an amazing trip. Tim, tell us about your experiences.
I really can't describe enough how wonderful it is to be in the Amazon, to see trees as big as your house, feel the oxygen, feel the the nature around you that drives us to be human and connecting back with nature, because most of us have a condition that you may not have heard of called NDD, nature deficit disorder. If you're living in the concrete jungle of Toronto or somewhere else, you're not getting into this kind of natural beauty to experience it and get reconnected to not just nature, but yourselves, to the community, and to people around you. And this is a just wonderful place to experience that. And of course, in addition to what Mark has described, we have a super food farm here providing incredible food, not 100 kilometers, but 1 kilometer food to table. There's a teaching kitchen in the middle of the superfood farm. You can experience, for example, the honey from Ecuadorian stingless honeybees, which has healing properties that most of us have never experienced. Just a wonderful place to come, and I highly recommend you consider joining us for this retreat next year.
Well, we're going to tell everybody all about that. And we were so inspired by our journey there a number of months ago now that we couldn't help but decide to do this for ourselves with our followers, which is why we're here this evening to invite you all to Minga Lodge in the heart of the Ecuadorian Amazon to experience exactly what we experience. And here's how we're framing it. So without exaggeration, I mean, Mark, literally this place is 700 acres of paradise that offers up all of the local organic fruits and vegetables. And as Dr. Cook just mentioned, honey from honeybees, chocolate, there's cacao ceremonies, there's the Temazcal you guys alluded to. You're probably putting years on folks' lives whenever they're joining in and actually taking away from this experience. Are we not?
Well, I would expect in a week you might have a year or two of improvement of your biological age. But the other thing we're doing is actually giving folks long-term tools in their toolbox to continue to improve your biological age going forward. And this includes information around diet, exercise, lifestyle, the kinds of things that are on everybody's top of mind. But of course, if you follow 500 specialists in the area, you will have 500 opinions. And we try to rationalize this and optimize it for you as an individual. So a lot of what I advocate in longevity medicine is personalized. It relates to your personal genetics and genomics and the lifestyle that is kind of ideal for you on a daily basis, living in harmony with your genes.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, I know you got to run. We're going to keep Dr. Cook locked and loaded in his chair. But before you take off, what was it that inspired you to create this oasis in the middle of the Amazon to begin with?
Bryce, it really comes down to connection. And this is a place to connect back with yourself, connect with nature, connect with others. And I feel, and I'm not a doctor, obviously, Dr. Tim Cook, and I know you've got Bryce in terms of your medical prowess. However, I believe that so much of what causes ailments is that of disconnection. We are disconnected. And that disconnection leads to dis-ease, which leads to disease. And so what we want to do here is have an opportunity to connect. And this is an opportunity on this retreat that we're going to be hosting with you, of course, is an opportunity to connect with others, connect with nature, connect with the universe, but most importantly, it's a chance to connect with yourself. And having the opportunity to do it in such a pristine environment, you literally are going back to source and going back to a place whereby you can actually connect meaningfully with yourself in one of the most amazing, most pristine environments in the world, but have an opportunity to truly understand and reconnect to who you are. And I believe if that is done adequately, successfully, and with love, the opportunity for longevity, the opportunity for happiness, the opportunity for purpose is the byproduct of that.
I love that.
Very well put.
I love that. You couple that with Dr. Cook's prescription, because we all need one, a permission slip to get out into nature more often and experience firsthand, which we are going to put together for you folks, by the way. It's going to be incredible. Valentine's week, 13th to the 19th this February. But with that nature deficit disorder that we have, we need this level of permission slip to get out there. And frankly, as you said it a minute ago, Dr. Cook, the likelihood that you will put years on your life, if you take home the wisdom that we will share on this trip, it's probably plural. you probably will put a few years on your life, because we're sharing not only Amazon, wisdom, but the wisdom of biohacking through to conventional medical sciences, are we not?
Well, it's interesting. For example, the Temescal, which is a Mesoamerican version of sweat lodge that many of you be familiar with. It's just made out of bricks in a dome shape. It can seat 25 people, but in 1 hour of that experience, you are getting the equivalent of several hundred hours of sauna, which most of us know can be quite helpful from a detox perspective. It also is soul cleansing. And furthermore, when you're finished, you get out and jump into, should you wish, a pool, a cold plunge pool full of ice cubes. And there's another pool that's more tepid for those of timid makeup. At the end of the day, these are biohacking experiences that are millennia old. And of course, in the hands of modern day technology and biohackers, we know that things that don't kill you make you stronger. This is the principle of hormesis. And so
Right.
hot and cold, things like starvation, although you don't want to starve yourself to death, but reducing calorie intake to the bare minimum of needs in every study since 1935, be it from worms to rats and mice and non-human primates and humans, has shown to extend your life expectancy by 30%. So we're learning a lot about what the ancients knew on how to stay long, healthy, and wise, and applying it now with some very high technology. For example, we can monitor your glucose here continuously and show, oh, look what these superfoods do for your glucose and insulin levels. And a lot of the biological age testing that is available, we can be doing for you before you come and afterwards if you wish. So the science around longevity has really taken off in the last 10 or 15 years. And of course, every 4 months, that knowledge base doubles. And we're bringing as much of that and synthesizing it for you to really understand what's driving your personal aging process and how do we reverse that and give you an extra 20 or 30 years of not just life expectancy, but health span with vitality and wellness for that full duration.
Yes.
That's the keynote, right? Health span. So, Mark, before you run away, what was the inspiration behind the brick and mortar? Because I mean, there's so much to learn at Minga, but the experience is nothing short of 5-star with the Temescal and the cold plunge and the gym and the beautiful, like resort-esque like experience that folks have. So, what was your inspiration behind this to begin with?
Mark has stepped out, but
he's gone. We miss Mark. You will find out more.
Mark's a busy guy.
I do have an insight because I've known Mark for some time that a lot of this was a personal journey of exploration of better health and wellness, having suffered what would be called a classic burnout some years ago. I've had my own of that experience back 20 years ago, which set me on a path to meditation, mindfulness, and some of these longevity practices. And clearly, we realize that the deficiencies of our current health system, our conventional medical system, is not designed actually to help you live your longest, healthiest, most fulfilled life at all. Our conventional system is a reactive sickness care model. It is not focused on health promotion, disease prevention. And so I think the rationale for building out Minga Lodge to be a really high-end wellness center that incorporates everything from the ancient wisdom to the high technology and obviously makes it as enjoyable and as relaxing an experience as possible is to help people develop their own pathway, if you will, or journey to a longer, healthier life.
And getting there is not as hard as it might sound. The Amazon and deep into the Amazonian forest and jungle in Ecuador. So we're going to tell you all about that. Plus, we're going to give you some idea of costs coming up very soon and the itinerary, more importantly, over February 13th to 19th. But before we do, Brent's going to start off with some tips and tricks free of charge. And then I'll add my 2 cents and back over to Dr. Cook for some insights on his idea of putting years on your life. Then we're going to get into the itinerary that we have in mind for you all and some of the costing, and then open it up to questions. Any questions are good questions. Just fire them off inside the Zoom here and or right in the Instagram live on either Brent's or my live. But Brent, what's the number one? There's 3 tips you got for us, right?
Yeah, 3 main ones. First of all, if you're on Instagram, head over to thinkfitnessstudios.com. Make sure you sign in to the Zoom. You'll be able to click a link to register. It'll send you the link for the Zoom and get on this because this is where you want to be. You can see everything we're doing. Okay, so we know that it's estimated about 80% of chronic illnesses can be prevented, right? Prevented with lifestyle. And we talked about, connection be a big one. Obviously, it's movement, it's nutrition, sleep, and stress management. All these things are really important. I'm going to talk about muscle. This is the number one organ of longevity, right? It's so important, and we hear about this more and more these days. Muscle is so important from everything from regulating your blood sugar.
And it's okay that I have a little bit more than you.
Yeah,
right?
you had a little more height than me. Let's not the muscle though. But, as we get older, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, you want independence. You want the mobility. You want to be able to move. And what I've learned, what we took from the Amazon is these guys, it's not a gym. It's their whole lifestyle is a gym. They're foraging, they're climbing, they're walking through uneven paths. So they're constantly building and activating their muscle and maintaining and preserving. And we see people who are older in their older ages moving very well and very independent. So that is great. And we also know that probably about 5 to 8% actually of your muscle mass is lost every decade after the age of 30.
Is it that high?
It's about every 30 to 35, or every decade after the age of 30 or 35, somewhere around there. So when you get to 70s, 75, 80, you could lose about 40% of your lean mass.
But you can preserve it though.
You can preserve it. There is declines with everything with age, we know that, but we're talking preservation. We'll go into the jungle, do some jungle treks. We will train like a centenarian. Doing the deep squats, focusing on mobility, posture, core, strength, grip strength. Let's talk about grip strength for a second.
Before we do, by the way, because we're in a gym environment, and this is when you're a city dwelling, this is what you have to do. But when you're out in nature, you're going to teach us all in the Amazon how to do MoveNat, right? How to move naturally like the Amazonian people do.
Okay, are we going to do a face-off here?
We are going to do a face-off. So tell us what these are.
So guys, one of the most important things is grip strength. We know it's one of the number one predictors or number one correlators with all-cause mortality. So if you have a low grip strength, you got to start working on your grip strength, okay? Now, all the pulling, farmer's carries, gripping that you do in the gym is great, but it's the consistency over time, consistency over duration and intensity. I always say that consistency always wins, and that's what happens in the Amazon with these Ecuadorians. They're always consistently using their
lifting,
grip.
pulling, pushing, jumping, squatting.
You got it.
Why does grip strength correlate though?
Well, strength translates to muscle. Right. And again, muscle is a longevity organ for many reasons, right? So even from cardiovascular, heart health, mobility, bone density, bone strength, the ability to build bone, fragility, getting fragile as you age, it happens to so many of us. You can really, have a damper on how fragile your bones get by doing the strength training. Right. And grip strength is going to help you. It's a great tool. By the way, buy this on Amazon of all places for, $12, $15. It's a great tool to test yourself on a regular basis, and then have a trainer or somebody help you with programming to ensure that you are working on.
Okay, so let's go to the test. Yeah, let's go. Okay. So all we're doing here is what? We're squeezing.
We're squeezing.
And how many pounds per?
It's going to pop up on the display. So you're going to hold it down to your side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, squeeze.
Okay.
What do you got?
I got 117.4.
I got 280.
Ever. You're not even 280. Yours isn't even on. Here, do this one. I got 117.
I'm going to tell you something right here. One thing about Bryce.
You got the cheap. He purchased this on Amazon. On it. That's actually very ironic.
One thing I will say, this guy has amazing grip strength. I don't even know if I can beat him. Okay.
Wait, what did you say, Dr. Cook?
Pounds or kilos? Are you sure?
Pounds.
Those are pounds.
Okay. Kilos, I'd be superhuman. Okay, let's go. Let's see what Brent's got. Let's see what he's got. All right, oh yeah, whatever.
Look at that.
Cheater.
124
Cheater pumpkin eater.
129.4.
Here's the one thing I got on Brent, by the way, is bicep
No, arm wrestle.
Arm wrestle and grip strength.
And grip strength.
All right.
Everything else, no.
Dr. Cook, why is it important to maintain leg and muscle strength generally?
At the end of the day, the more sophisticated version of this that I order is did diagnostic imaging of the thigh. So the thigh muscle volume is a very strong predictor of longevity. At the end, if you are weak and fragile and you have low bone and low muscle density, you're going to fall and break a hip. That's pretty much the end of most of us. And the centenarians around the world, when they've done these analyses, have all been able to maintain very high levels of bone density and muscle strength and tone and bulk. So these are all very critically important. Now, I will just say that being in the gym or being in the Amazon working out is all very good. But if you don't have enough protein coming in, and ideally we looked for 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight of protein daily, which is frankly much higher than most North Americans are consuming, especially if they're following a standard American diet, which is SAD, SAD, because it's very toxic. It's very, very high in carbohydrate, especially from ugly processed foods, and very low in high quality protein. So that may be one critically important aspect in addition to building muscle with exercise and activity, is to make sure you're getting enough protein for the building blocks for that. And obviously healthy fats are important as well.
Yeah, and we'll also go into supplementation, right? Proper supplementation. We won't get into detail today, but creatine, HMB, these are things that can help build and preserve muscle and reduce muscle loss with age.
So we're going to learn all about that at Minga. What else? What else you got for us?
Well, VO2 max. Another, this is
Dr. Cook's all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it is, hugely linked to critical for cardiovascular fitness and cardiovascular health. So we will be doing activities that are going to work on your VO2 max,
and
give you an idea of where
it's at. We can actually even test you there, yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's tested at your level, but unfortunately, it declines with age, as most things do, but we can make an impact in preserving some of that and actually elevating your VO2 max so that you do have a healthier cardiovascular system.
And it doesn't have to take hours a week running. In fact, the evidence would suggest that even 5 minutes 3 times a week of something called re-hit or HIT, but reduced exertion, high intensity interval training, where you're going like stink for 20 seconds and then immediately rest to get your baseline back down, and then 20 seconds again, 2 or 3 of those intervals 3 times a week, get your VO2 max up even better, as in 12% improvement of that versus 2% if you're just running on a treadmill for hours at a time.
That's a really great point. Yeah, because a lot of people think they have to spend hours doing this. You don't have
And imagine doing it in the middle of the Amazon rainforest with toucans swooping by and howler monkeys jumping tree to tree. That's what you're in for in our longevity retreat, October 13th to 19th.
Even getting there paddling.
Yeah,
there's many ways to do it.
Too,
the paddling, the trekking. Yeah, we'll work on a lot of techniques too.
All right, tip number 3.
Tip number 3 essentially is, mine was going to talk about the Ecuadorian people are, I was amazed, and I'm sure you were too, with the connection. And Mark talked about this in the beginning.
Yeah.
Connection is key. And I'm not talking about just, connection with themselves, but the connection with each other, the family, the community, through a lot of these traditions that they do. We talked about the Temazcal briefly there, but there's a lot of different ceremonies that are traditional to the area that, really offer that connection piece. And being connected with the earth and nature. That was a huge, huge aspect that you could take from this.
And you can do physical activity at the same time as doing that, right? Absolutely. Or in fact, that just follows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got some tips I'm going to share as well. I'm going to whip through them. I'll tell you what, though, scientists just published in this prestigious journal called Nature, Aging, that while some of us age biologically at only half a year for every calendar year, others actually rack up nearly 2 years of wear and tear in the same time. The study's called Pace of Aging. Dr. Cook knows all about this. And that pace is how fast you're aging right now. It's a stronger predictor, actually, of your overall health, your vitality, even the day you die. And then, of course, your birthday will ever be. And here's the crazy part. We can change it. This isn't abstract science. This is the opportunity to literally change the day you die. So now let me ask you all, what would a few extra healthy years be worth to you? Years where you're strong and you're good enough to travel anywhere you want. You're sharp enough to remember every detail, vibrant enough to love your partner with everything you're got. Like, this is a Valentine's gift to you and your partner. And so that's what this adventure is all about. It's not just about living longer, although you'll get that. You've heard Dr. Cook say it, and we're saying it. It's about loving yourself enough to invest in your health span and loving your significant other enough to share that journey. That's what we're offering up. So on this retreat, the Amazon becomes our classroom, our laboratory. Dr. Cook will talk about this in a second, a bunch of tests you could do, and what I'd like to call our cathedral, and where we're sharing space. So from genomics to biohacking, the power of superfoods, that's my area and Dr. Cook's, and we're going to show you how to slow down the flame, if you will, not just count the candles of the proverbial birthday cake. So Genomics 101, your personal longevity code, that's my area of expertise. It's what I love to focus on. Longevity tip number 1, detox and methylation. You're gonna learn all about that. This is kind of how to throw the junk away in your body and how to manage inflammation. So until you've had your DNA decoded, I would recommend adding glutathione and a high quality B complex into your supplement routine. That's number 1. And at Minga, we're going to actually run through, Dr. Cook and I together, DNA-based workshops so that you can match your unique DNA blueprint to personalized foods, Brent's exercises, supplements that will actually help you live biologically younger. Crazy. So tip number 2, biohacking resilience and stress and recovery and hormesis. Dr. Cook already alluded to this. We're going to dive deep into that. And the tip here tonight is ultimately short, controlled stress-like cold showers. It's real easy. Fasting that Dr. Cook said, not too much, but just enough to shock your body. And intense exercise. All of these things turn up your system's ability to slow down aging, hormesis. So try ending your shower with 30 seconds of very cold water, particularly on your face, and where this is where your vagus nerve is highly innervated. And intermittent fasting. So that's tip number 2. And at Minga, ultimately, what we're going to do is put this hormesis into practice with Amazonian breath work, these jungle treks, HRV. That's the variability factor. And then number 3, superfoods. So this is supplement synergy, things that we find in nature, all of which is for youth span. And my tip tonight is really that it's not about one single miracle pill. We're talking about the synergy, polyphenols, adaptogens, bioactives that are found in all these Amazonian superfoods. They protect your cells and they extend vitality, right? That's what it's all about. And the actual takeaway is, how about tonight try swapping your dessert out for a square of 85% chocolate, high in polyphenols, and maybe add fatty fish into your diet twice a week for the omega-3s. So at Minga, once again, we are going to tour the superfood farm you heard Mark Kilberger talk about. We're going to taste cacao. We're going to taste the medicinal honey, right at the source. We're going to connect with ancient Amazonian remedies with modern nutraceuticals. So, and by the way, I have something to share with you. We have lots to share in the way of swag and giveaways. And one of my favorites is Sayu essential oils. These are more than just fragrance. When you inhale them, you see, first of all, molecules travel through your olfactory bulb into your brain's limbic system, which is the center of love, by the way, mood, memory, stress, inflammation. That's why they can play such a powerful role in slowing down the aging from the inside out, calming cortisol, supporting resilience. And what I love about Sayu is that their blends are crafted with very clean ingredients and real intention. They're designed to nurture both body and spirit. And because this retreat is all about equipping you with the best tools for youth span, guess what? Every participant's going to receive their own Sayu Discovery set to use in meditation sessions. Then you take this home with you. And you can learn a lot more about their philosophy and their blends at sayu.earth. And by the way, this set is valued at over $500. So we have all kinds of amazing swag and different tricks and tips to offer you guys up there. Dr. Cook, when it comes to lab testing, and you're way beyond that, but give us a little sample of the kinds of value people are going to learn as it pertains to how to test themselves, interject with intervention, and then test again. What kinds of things do you have up your sleeve?
So we have learned a lot over the last 15 years about what is driving aging, what are those processes, which genes get turned on that contribute to aging, and how do we turn them off? And at the end of the day, there are 12 well-established hallmarks of aging. Most of us have a number of them going on concurrently, and we ideally want to test people to find out which are your particular problems in that hallmark of aging wheel. The 12 that people would be aware of, perhaps, one of the most important is inflammation, and it's been nicknamed inflammaging. And sadly, the lifestyles that most North Americans lead are highly inflammatory. In addition, we talk about dysbiosis. So your gut microbiome is not very happy these days because of, again, diet and lifestyle, and frankly, antibiotics that are in an environment that are killing off the good bacteria. That plays a role. Having mitochondria, the little battery packs of your cells, only working at half power, that's a problem that we can identify and fix. We can measure in our blood testing, for example, intracellular NAD, which is one of the major drivers of our energy in our battery packs. Senescent cells, how many of those do you have? You're not meant to have many, but if you have much higher than you should for your age and stage, that's problematic, and we have ways to both test and intervene to bring those down. So this is now very scientific business to understand what is driving somebody's aging. And the tagline here, guys, is there's no silver bullet, but there is silver buckshot.
Right.
So we typically need to intervene at all these levels of hallmarks of aging to turn off that aging clock. And then we can measure your biological age, see it improving. Your Dunedin pace of aging that Bryce was alluding to is perhaps the most cutting edge indicator of how fast, sort of like the speedometer in your car, how fast are you rushing to your demise? If it's more than 1, you're in trouble. Current world record, there is nobody immortal, but the world record is around 0.5. So every day that passes, these group of people who are down to 0.5 are only aging half a day. And so they're getting half their year for free. And that's what we are targeting here, is to get everybody's pace of aging down to 0.5 and have you live to be a centenarian.
Beautiful. And it's all evidence-based, with, let's say, caveat varying degrees of evidence, but most respected, a lot of which is published in peer-reviewed journals. And what we like to talk about is book-ended testing, right? So this is not just a lot of woo-woo. Come and join us with some, chocolate and meditation in the forest. You can get yourself baseline tested, have this experience, maybe take it on for another couple of months at home, retest yourself. Tell us a little bit about that program that you have.
Yeah, so we do that kind of testing. My clinic in Toronto, VivaGen Life Sciences, has the ability to test all that. And then obviously, once you've made the appropriate interventions guided by those tests, we retest them. Typically as little as 3 months will show a change. There have been a few studies of this that have actually shown you can improve your biological age by 3 to 4 years in as little as 2 months of making these kinds of lifestyle interventions.
Crazy.
Just eating better, sleeping better, taking appropriate supplements to support your microbiome and your genomic driven tests. These are all going to make a huge impact for you.
So what is adding years onto your life worth to you? I want you to park that thought for a moment as we whip through a quick itinerary that myself, Dr. Cook, and Brent have in mind. So
again, go to thinkfitnessstudios.com and make sure you get in on the Zoom right now, because you can see this.
So what we're going to do is continue on with the Instagram Live so people can ask any questions coming up very shortly. But what we're doing is showing some slides on the Zoom call here that gives an illustration and a bit of the agenda. Everyone who registers at thinkfitnessstudios.com will get this whole package along with pricing sent to them. But let's just start off with the idea that, this is an oasis. I mean, this is 5-star white linen service.
You would never expect it coming up that river, seeing these stairs.
Yeah, like where's the tent, right?
No. 700 acres of primary and secondary rainforest.
Air conditioned, very, very comfortable settings. Dr. Cook, you're sleeping in one of these this evening, aren't you?
I am indeed. I had a very, very deep restorative sleep last night. My Aura ring scored me 92.
Wow, that's actually impressive.
That's actually good.
Everyone, couples get a sanctuary cabin. If you're riding solo, that's fine as well. Day one, we have planned February 13th. It is strategically planned the day before Valentine's because what we think is that this is a love journey, not only of yourself, you love yourself, you want to give yourself some added years on your life, but what better gift than to give your partner?
And by the way, you don't have to come with a partner. It's about loving yourself as well, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So arrival, day one. Let's talk about our experience. It's super easy to get there. I mean, international travel into Quito, which is
an amazing place on its own.
You want to actually spend some extra time there if you have the chance.
Yeah.
Then from Quito, the next day we take a little hopper, 45-minute flight into cacao.
No, coca.
Coca, sorry. I'm thinking chocolate.
We get cacao there. It's always
you eat cacao when you're there. Coca.
By the way, that's a small, 30-minute domestic flight from Quito to Coca, which is down by the Napo River.
Right.
And that's where we hop on the canoes.
Right.
Motorized canoes.
Tiny ones. Very comfortable.
Big.
It's so well thought out.
24 people per canoe. It's
I would say at least
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And beautiful ride, very calm ride upriver. You get to see all kinds of wildlife. You get to say hi to the villagers, some of whom are cleaning their pots and pans and laundry in the river with
fishing,
and digging for all kinds of different interesting things. 3 hours later, you land and you are, in this oasis, and you're literally looking out at the Napo River. The morning of, it's basically pretty straightforward. We're going to have an orientation in the Quito Airport Hotel.
Yeah.
We're going to debrief you. We're going to answer any questions that you might have. Dr. Cook and Mark, of course, will be there along with some of our other experts. Myself and Brent will relax, and then it'll be, as Brent said, you get onto the canoe, which you can see here, and then you arrive in the afternoon. We have strategically planned February 14th as a day of love, rest, rejuvenation. So nothing crazy starts happening yet, but there is a cacao ceremony. I loved it too, but you really loved this. Tell us a little bit about this.
First of all, I can't remember her name. Who actually? She was amazing. Anyway, what's her name again?
Dia.
Right. Dia. Yeah. Just an amazing soul. You could just feel her energy. You come in, you get sort of blessed, basically it's the smoke they put on you when you walk in, and then you take your spot. She goes over how it's all going to go down. It's all about the heart, right? So we're working with the heart, bringing that out. We go through it's kind of like meditative. You obviously sip the cacao. We share some experiences with each other. There's some singing. She had a couple of colleagues with her that were helping out with this. It was just a beautiful experience, and you come out feeling, I don't know, just
rejuvenated
and inner joy.
And there's a science to this too, right, Dr. Cook? I mean, there's a science behind cacao at therapeutic range and the serotonergic component, is there not?
Absolutely, and obviously a ancient wisdom about it. The cacao bean and the cacao plant is at the top of the hierarchy of botanicals in South America. It has a very, very high regard as a plant of wisdom and health. And indeed, some of the research shows very high in polyphenols. It's very good for us from a longevity perspective, and does have a degree of stimulation of one's dopamine and opioid pathways. In other words, you get a bit of a hit of narcotic from this, even though it's not that. It's clearly just cacao.
Legal narcotic. All right. And then there's the Temescal ceremony. This is that heat. It's beyond sauna. It is, heated by hot rocks, lava rocks, and a fire. Unbelievable experience. And then the Valentine's Day dinner, special dinner we have planned for you. The next day, neuroplasticity in motion. So much is happening on this day, but start us off, Brent, because I know that you're leading a large part of this day.
Yeah, it's about getting the movement, getting yourself moving first thing in the morning. We have options here. Again, there's other options in addition to this, but river paddling, bird watching. We have morning yoga pretty much every morning as well. Different style of yoga. Again, this is attuned to all levels, of course, but the idea is to get you moving. The mind is connected to the body, as we know. Matter of fact, the mind is, things are 80% mental. So it's getting yourself in that mental state by moving your body. And I think that's the first way to start out. And then even getting into the jungle. So bringing that nature element in there, of course, just takes things to a whole nother level. The things you see in the jungle, this lush jungle, is incredible. And we also have a guide who specializes in it, who's from Minga Lodge, who goes over, the plants, a lot of the animals that you will see, certain traditions that the people have in the area. So it's a beautiful experience. It's a great way to
Moving,
open up
learning, connectivity, it all happens. Dr. Cook, you're going to talk to us a little bit about why we age. Does Dr. Cook have to leave?
Dr. Cook just had to step out. Yeah, he actually, we
Sure.
were talking about the sacred ceremony here with the psilocybin. He's actually stepping out to go do this ceremony
nice.
right now. So,
Ryan, you're a perfect person to segue with us here, though, if you don't mind. And then we're just about to tie up with the last few days that we're going to be doing here. There is an optional sacred ceremony. Ryan, before we go on, just introduce yourself, and we can't thank you enough for helping us with this. You're an instrumental, important part of this whole process behind the scenes. Tell us a little bit about what your role is, what you're going to do, because people need to know your name. You're part of our group in the orchestration, administration aspect.
Yeah, thank you for having me, first of all. And really excited for this Valentine's Day adventure that we're going to be having together. I was able to host you at Minga Lodge. I'm part of our team here. I live in Ecuador and help manage Minga Lodge and sort of oversee all of our programming and logistics. And so those that are interested in coming, I will be able to sort of help coordinate that trip with them, do all of that, make sure that it's easy and seamless for them to get down here. But I help manage the lodge and work with our programming and with some of our Ecuadorian team here to make everything as seamless as possible so that you can come and enjoy yourself and really focus on the reason that you're here, to learn about longevity, to learn a little bit about biohacking, and really just soak in the Amazonian rainforest and go home with an incredible adventure under your belt.
Ryan, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for all of that. We were just about to talk about the optional, but highly anticipated, highly encouraged, at least we are highly encouraging it after our experience of the sacred ceremony. So, by the way, true story, Brent and I went into our experience with you last trip, intending not to do psilocybin, intending not to have the incredible journey that we ended up having. Why don't you just very briefly share, your story, and then I'll weigh in, and then I'll have Ryan explain how this happens.
Yeah, I mean, I dabbled with that as a kid, but not in the way that
Not in the medicinal.
not in the medicinal way, and not in a way that was so structured and just so amazingly prepped. It was just an incredible experience. But I did leave here, as yourself as well, looking at the itinerary, being very excited about it, but saying, that's the one thing I'm not going to do. So, we went down there with the same mindset, and then you ended up getting not talked into it, but
well, the influence was it was a young boy who shared his story with me, and when I said, no, I think I'm good, I don't need to do this trip or journey. By the way, the science is very clear. Neuroplasticity and the inducement of the experience through psilocybin, which of course, otherwise known as magic mushrooms, but this is very dose specific. It's very set and setting appropriate. So the shaman, which Ryan can speak to in a moment, has incredible experience and has done thousands and thousands of hours of this. And so my at the time, my thought was I didn't need to do it. And then a young boy said, well, how do you know? And so my response to that was like,
how do I know?
Right. You're actually absolutely, how do I know? So I literally texted a good friend of mine who is, considered one of the world-renowned experts in psilocybin. And I said, is there any reason I shouldn't do this? And he asked me what the set and the setting was and the dose and the genus species. And he said, absolutely not, do it, have fun. So I did it. And let me tell you, it was the literal, figuratively speaking, trip of a lifetime. But also this was a trip within the trip of a lifetime. And I was solving the Fibonacci code.
You can't put words to it. It's unbelievable.
It was just so Ryan, for folks that, are maybe thinking about this as an add-on aspect of this, how does that element work?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, we work with an absolute phenomenal shaman. He's one of the most experienced in the world. Like you said, thousands and thousands of hours of guiding people from all over the world through this psilocybin experience. On site, we want to make sure that the setting is incredibly safe and secure. Safety is our top priority. So we have a paramedic on site. We also have a psychologist on site, working with integration after, what does it mean when you come out of your experience? So how it actually works is it's a relationship with you when you're on the ground here in the shaman. So if it's something that you're interested in, we would ask that you would bring the cost of what it takes to take part in the ceremony, and actually that's a relationship that you'll hold directly with the shaman. So if it is something, you'll see Rodrigo on the screen there. He's phenomenal. He's absolutely brilliant, and we're extremely lucky to have him. So if you do decide to do this, it will be an added cost, and that is the only thing that we will add throughout the entire trip. It's $1,000 US, and that would be going directly towards Rodrigo, in a relationship directly with him. And that's going to allow you to have this experience, not only what you mentioned the first night, but there's also about 48 hours later, there's a second experience that sort of focuses on the integration of your experiences from the first night. And so it really is a really well thought out and an incredible experience. Like you guys, I did it the first time alongside you on that trip just a month ago, and was absolutely blown away, and have been sort of course correcting my life since then.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, game changer for me. I don't know. So in the words of Dr. Cook and the literature, there's something called neuroplasticity. This is where, nerves that fire together wire together. And you'll learn all about this on this trip, and, slowing down the aging process in your brain. And this might contribute to that. Literature doesn't say that yet, but I bet it will eventually one day. But the point is this: on the fMRI studies, the functional magnetic resonant imagery studies, this psilocybin experience, again, set and setting so key. What this shows are parts of the brain that don't usually communicate with each other start communicating during this. And by the way, this was like, what was this? Like 6 hours, but it felt like
it felt like an hour. It was just
so fast.
That just blew me away.
And it was feelings of empathy and love. And what a better, thing to do during Valentine's week with the person you love, and or even just for yourself. Highly encourage this experience. So thank you for sharing that, Ryan. Just finishing this up, day 4, this is where, a lot more exercise comes in. Dr. Cook's going to be lecturing this whole community that you mentioned, Brent, Minga music and, mingling, connectivity. We're going to be talking about hormesis, superfoods at the superfood farm. Again, dark chocolate, nutraceuticals, which is all about what you can take. Sometimes you can't eat yourself to therapeutic range. Think about that for a second. You can't necessarily eat foods to get certain constituents that science has proven might benefit you toward longevity by that amount that you'll have at your dinner table alone. So that's what a supplement's for. Once you know what you need through genomic analysis and other testing, Dr. Cook will talk about, you can take this at therapeutic range to add years to your life. Functional years. So we'll talk about that. And then that's the second part of the sacred ceremony that day that Ryan talked about. So the wrap up on day 18, we're going to have some amazing yoga.
Yep.
We're to talk more about, nutraceuticals and nutrition for nat move and longevity. And then just a ton of open question and answers. So a lot of this is in-house, as in classroom. You're going to be literally bringing your pen and paper, your notepad, and or your iPad, whatever you prefer, learning. But then so much of it is outdoor.
I think the biggest part of this for us too is the integration aspect of that. There's the learning, and then it's the integration, and that's where that ceremony comes into play nicely as well. But integrating through that beautiful environment of being in the jungle. Being on the water, bird watching, just seeing and being more one with nature and your surroundings.
On that note, there's a lot of free time if you want it. There's always scheduled classes. There's those events that you can partake on starting as early as 6 a.m, or you can go bird watching, to your point, or you can paddle down the river on an organized animal watch. But at the end of the day, there's the freedom to do what you want and or join the group collectively to learn. It's up to you. Then we depart on day 7 back to Quito, where you have an option, which you can arrange with Ryan as add-on packages. So Ryan, just give us a brief overview of what people can do beyond, and then we'll talk costs beyond the package we're talking about, 13th to the 19th. So this add-on scenario.
Yeah, really the options are unlimited. You can spend a day in Quito and explore Centro Historico with Bryce and Brent alongside. There's a beautiful volcano that overlooks the city. You can take a cable car up that volcano, go for a small hike that day. Oftentimes you've just spent a week in the Amazon. You've gone through sort of a transformative experience. Maybe you went through your first psilocybin experience, and you want a bit of time to sort of reflect and rejuvenate on that before you sort of parachute back into your life at home. And so that can look like
highly recommended.
Yeah, that can look like going to the Galapagos and being in nature for a few days, whether it's by boat or it's by land, staying at a hotel on one of the islands. You can go to Machu Picchu in Peru. You can go to Colombia if you'd like. Really, the options are limitless, even down to Patagonia and exploring more nature in the Southern Hemisphere, known for its beautiful, beautiful landscape. So really, the options are unlimited. And again, we really want to make this as easy as possible for you. We've been booking travel, been booking these extensions for over 15 years now with people traveling with us, and so we've got it down to where we make it as easy as possible for you. We love to connect with you on a call prior to the trip and figure out what your travel styles are, so we get you right in the exact type of hotel you want, the exact type of transportation you like, the exact destination, doing exactly what you picture yourself doing when you picture yourself, on that once in a lifetime journey in South America.
Right. Amazing. And you're already there, so you might as well take advantage of it and spend a couple extra days. It will be, again, a learning intensive experience, and what you take away will add years to your life, but then you can decompress and debrief by doing some exploratory and totally R&R type of stuff after the fact. So that add-on package, factor and additional tripping, that'll be a private conversation with Ryan. As it relates to Brent and our travel, which we're calling Think, Love, and Impact for that package. And again, keep in mind, for fear of sounding like a late night infomercial, you might think that all of what we just described, that week experience and travel from Quito into the Amazon, is $30,000, $40,000. It's not even close. For Valentine's, and this is a special, and we really brought this down as low as we possibly could just to make this work. This is not a money-making thing for Brett or I. This is absolutely experiential for the people that we love in our own circles. And so what we have as an early bird special currently for singles is $13,150. If you're a standard purchase, and that's going to be, when does that expire? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
So 2 weeks as a single, that includes everything, lodging. The only exception it doesn't include, of course, is international travel into Quito. After Quito, it is everything. And the reason why we don't include international travel is we have no idea where you're coming from. But Quito is an international airport, hubbed for anywhere you might be around North America. And Brent and I found our airline cost us, like $2,000 each to get us into Quito?
Just under. Just shy of that, yeah.
Just under $2,000. So consider that in the budget here. So per person early bird special is $13,150. That might expire by the time you see this video. So currently we are October 2nd. That's 2 weeks. For couples, and that's savings, by the way, of over $1,000. For couples, the early bird special,
just over $6. Just for
the deposit.
For the deposit, yeah.
So for couples, the early bird special is $24,170. So guys, for a week, all food inclusive, all this experience inclusive, with the exception, of course, of the psilocybin, that's $1,000 extra as well, and the international travel. The question simply becomes, what is adding a few years to your life worth to you, and do you want an experience of a lifetime that you'll never forget? We promise.
And adding life to your years, not just years to your life.
Right. Couldn't say that better. Ryan, what am I missing there? By the way, we need a 25% deposit. So the early bird special, we need that 6,000 Brent was alluding to ASAP within the 2 weeks. So if you're interested, it's a $6,000 deposit. For couples, for singles, of course, it's less, it's $3,290. Am I missing anything there, Ryan?
There's two other payments that are, December, and then, 60 days before. I think we have it in 30 days before the actual date.
We'll put this.
So, again, everyone will get, who's interested on this is going to get the information on the pricing sent directly to you via email.
Right. So don't forget to go to thinkfitnessstudios.com, register at the link. You will get all of this information sent to you. You can have a call with Ryan, who will walk you through all of the details of the trip and the extensions and any minimal add-on costs. So we want to be absolutely clear of everything that's included. But from food to the accommodations to all of the trips that happen over the course of the time you're at Minga Lodge, through the Temescal you heard about, through to the cacao experience, to the organic farm, all of that's included. Ryan, is there anything I missed there?
Yeah, I think you guys absolutely nailed it. But essentially, the 25% deposit essentially knows that you're serious about this, and it allows us to start making our bookings on the ground. We usually take the last bit of the final, remaining balance 30 days prior to departure before the trip. We're also flexible. Like, we know lives are busy, and so if it's a day here, a day there, that's not a big deal. We want to work with you. We want you to get here. We want you to experience this alongside of us. And look, I know people are really, really busy, and they're thinking, I can't take a week or 10 days, out of my busy schedule to really get down there, even if I do really want to do this. Look, we're fully connected at the lodge. We're on the grid. We have Wi-Fi. If you need to step out, you need to take a call. These are something that we can work with and we can make sure happens for you.
Fine.
Really appreciate all that. Folks, we promised that we would wrap within the hour. We're 2 minutes from the hour. If there are any burning or pressing questions, this will be, of course, posted on thinkfitnessstudios.com for anyone to share, rewatch, ask us questions. But if anyone has any questions right now, please send it in the chat. A couple of comments. Wow, couldn't imagine a better setting, nor can we. We hope to see you there. It's February 13th to the 19th. Tons of swag, free stuff, some celebrity level. I'm not including this guy here, or certainly me,
this guy.
but celebrity level trainers are expected to join us. We're expected to have some cuisine. And by the way, the chef, just real quick as we wrap up here, Ryan, tell us a little about the food, the chef. I mean,
it's absolutely top notch. If you have dietary restrictions, if you have a diet that you're following, those are questions that we ask, and those are things that we take seriously. We make sure that we accommodate for. Our chef here at Minga Lodge, his name is Sebastian. He's a trained chef here, top quality in Ecuador. He not only oversees our food here at Minga Lodge, but we have properties sort of all over the globe on different continents. Sebastian actually oversees all of our kitchens. That's how much we believe in him. We have a superfood farm, over 100 acres, over 100 different superfoods just across the river. He incorporates all that food into the menu. And so we like to call it a 1 mile diet, where about 90% of all of the food that you're going to eat here at Minga Lodge comes from within a mile radius of the lodge itself. And so you're not going to go hungry. You're not going to starve. And we're going to make sure that you guys eat well, you sleep well, so that you can focus on the reasons that you're coming.
Amazing. Ryan, thank you. And thank Dr. Cook for us. Thank Mark for us. And we will see you all, hopefully, on October 13th through the 19th.
Not October.
It is October, February 13th to the 19th.
2026.
One question we have, is there an itinerary set for the couple's days after the main week of the retreat? Or is it like a menu of excursion options? And how does it work to join in for that? So, that's a good answer.
It's a menu. It's a menu. So jump on a call with me. We'll talk. We'll see how many days you have. We'll see what your budget is and where you want to go, and we'll make it happen. It's really up to you. It's a choose your own adventure.
Yeah. And you can, by the way, you can join Bryce and I. We will be staying in Quito for probably 2 days.
At least 2 days in Quito. The itinerary we have planned for an extended learning experience, takeaway from, if you want to debrief on all the things that you learned at Minga. We won't be going to the Galapagos necessarily, or
we might.
We might. We don't know. It depends. But there's, the world, the sky's the limit. This is your adventure. We're just sort of holding your hand for a couple of days, put a couple of years on your life. And the question to ask and have conversations between yourselves and or within yourself is, what is that worth to you? We believe that a couple of years extension for healthy years is worth at least the roughly 15,000 Canadian postulation that we have going on for you. So again, thank you, Ryan, for helping us with all of this.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining in.
We'll have other question and answer series coming up in the next, probably weeks.
Yeah.
But for now, feel free to register at thinkfitnessstudios.com so that you get all of the information, all of the costing and pricing, and you can ask away and set an appointment with Ryan if you have further questions. He'll be glad to take them. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.